Good morning, ma'am. Myself is Shravani. I am from Tibli department. Today my topic is active and passive voice. How to convert from active to passive voice. Introduction to active and passive voice. Active voice is when the subject of the sentence performs the action. Passive voice is when the subject of the sentence receives the action. Understanding the difference between active and passive voice is essential for effective communication. Identifying active voice. In active voice, the subject is performing the action. The subject is typically at the beginning of the sentence. Verbs in active voice are usually in the present or past tense. Identifying passive voice. In passive voice, the subject receives the action. The subject is often preceded by the preposition by in passive voice sentences. The focus is on the action rather than the door in passive voice. Converting from active to passive voice. Step 1. Identify the subject, verb and object in the active voice sentence. Rearrange the sentence so that the object becomes the subject. Add the appropriate form of the verb to be before the main verb. Converting from active to passive voice. Step 2. Change the main verb to its past participle form. Adjust the tense of the sentence if needed. Include the door of the action after the by in passive voice sentences. Now we have to discuss about examples of active to passive voice conversion. Now first one, active voice. Active, for example, the chef prepares the meal. We have to convert into passive voice. The meal is prepared by the chef. When the active voice becoming the object or subject, that is active voice. Another example, active voice, she lifted the box. Passive voice, the box was lifted by her. When to use passive voice to emphasize the action rather than the door. Passive voice is commonly in scientific writing. Passive voice can be used to create a sense of formality or objectivity. Avoiding misuse of passive voice. Do not use passive voice to avoid responsibility or hide the door. Be mindful of the clarity and readability writing when using the passive voice. Be mindful the clarity and also a readability writing when using passive voice. Strike a balance between active and passive voice based on the context and purpose of your writing. Practice activity. Convert the following active voice sentences to passive voice. Now we have to practice converting of a active voice and also a passive voice. First one, we have to see active voice. The teacher praised the student. We have to convert into passive. The passive voice, the students were praised by the teacher. Next example of practice activity, active voice, do they sell building material? Passive voice, is building material sold by them? Now conclusion, for active voice to passive voice converting and also active and passive voice conclusion. Now understanding the differences between active and passive voice is crucial for effective communication. Converting from active to passive voice involves rearranging the sentences structure and changing verb forms. Now third point, practice converting sentences from active to passive voice to improving the writing skills and also a communication skills, and like that only active and passive voice involves the rearranging the sentence structure. Thank you.